So I can't live with that. That means I got to take this apart whether I want to or not. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm going to now. I mean, it would work. It's been working that way for a very long time, I'm sure. But it's time it doesn't do that anymore. And I may be opening up a huge can of worms. This could just be a nightmare right here that I'm getting ready to get into. But I've been in nightmares many times. Will this even come off? I have a feeling that's going to be the nightmare, that this won't even come off. This is a rubber mallet. Yeah, it drove through it. That's a good thing. But you can see the creeping crud on that, and it was stuck to it. So we're going to do that with every one of these. Take them apart and clean them up and put them back on. They are a mess. And I got to be honest, the screws are a mess too. These had been off before because there's multiple holes. These may have been replaced, possibly. I wouldn't have thought so, but they might have been. Oh, these screws are rusty, man. This thing's been stored in a bad place. Oh my gosh. I can't turn that screw. Like I said, odds are, just because I want to do the right thing, I'm gonna just open up a huge can of worms, and I think I just opened the first can right there. These are the kinds of things that some people, they'll get on you in the comments. You got to remember, I didn't create this problem. I'm just fixing it, you know. And this is a significant problem. It's worse than I thought. As usual, like that's why I say you can leave well enough alone and just go on fat, dumb, and happy, or you can open up a huge can of worms. And I have a giant can of worms here. Every one of the end screws is rusted solid. Every one of them. You can see a significant difference. The bottom screw is still shiny. And because they're still shiny, they unscrew. The top screws, not so much. They're not shiny at all. They're rusted solid. What a pain in the neck. Even the bottom ones are tough, but the top ones are impossible. Why do I do these things to myself? And with sore hands to boot, this is not a pleasant experience, trust me. Okay, I got all the bottom screws out. See if I can get some of these tops out. Oh my gosh, nope, they're not turning. Oh my gosh, I might have made that one turn a tiny bit. Okay, I got it. Once they turn, then you can get them, I think. Well, look at that, it's just spinning in the hole. It's not coming out. Have to pry it out. We got hole damage to repair now on top of all of this. Oh my gosh. Like I said, did I lie when I said you can be opening up a huge can of worms? I'm seriously telling you, this is a huge can of worms. Look, do you think that looks rusty? Can you see that? There's no threads left. It's just solid rust. So guess what? We'll be putting on new screws too. It doesn't quit. Oh my gosh. I'm going to see if I can spin this one with these pliers. These pliers just happen to be really grippy. If I can get a hold of the end of that screw, there, I got it. These are really good pliers. These are just, they're actually electrical pliers. I bought this pair, I think I bought at Napa. You can get them off of Amazon. There might be a link to these on my page of the products I use also. Trust me, they're great pliers. They're great for electrical work, but they're also great because they got this little tiny grippy end. And there's very few pliers that you can grab a round-headed screw and spin it, but they'll do it. See if I can turn it now the rest of the way, or will it even? I'm just going to pull it out because it's just messed up. Again, there ain't nothing to it. They're just messed up. I mean, golly, you know, these are as bad as any I've ever seen. I can tell you that for sure. May not be the worst, but they're just about as bad as any I've ever seen. I'm sure glad we noticed this because this definitely needs to be done. Yep. This'll spin them. The screwdriver won't. And then once I get them spinning, I'm just pulling them out because there's nothing to them. None of them are any good. Oh my gosh. How do you spell can of worms? Yeah, that one there's not much left of the screw even. It's like, it looks more like a little tiny rivet. It's just, yeah, that's, bad. And this one's going to be just as bad. This one looks like the worst one. Can I even grip it? Oh my gosh, I can't even get this one to grip. I don't know if I can do anything with the screwdriver or not. Oh, I got a little bit. Yep, I got it. It's probably a combination of the fact that I pinched it with the pliers. Maybe I can get a hold of it now and get it out of there. Yeah, bad, really bad. Every one of them, really bad. Oh my gosh. Did you ever hear it's not easy being me? All right, well, let's see here. I'm not sure all of these are gonna come out of here. I have a feeling I'm gonna be fighting this tooth and nail here. Let me block up that, and I can't even drive that one through. There it goes. You think I'm kidding about this? These things are bad, man. I mean, like the worst I believe I ever saw. Holy moly. Yeah. We got damage repair to do on all this. This is a mess. So you're better off just holding it in your hand and hitting against it, because your hand will act like a shock absorber on something like this. Even that doesn't work as well as just holding it in your hand, really. Wow. That's not even coming. It's not even coming. You can see that didn't move at all as hard as I was hitting it. It is froze to that ferrule. Froze to it. This side seems to be worse than the other side. There, I got that one, but I had to hit it pretty hard. Oh my gosh. I can't even get it out the hole. It's even after I got it loose, it doesn't want to come down through there. I've never seen anything like that ever. Like I said, I had to retire for 2 years and come back to see something this messed up. Oh my gosh. Crazy. All right, let's see if we can get the worst one. This sucker here is jammed in tight now. Oh my gosh, it still hasn't budged. Hasn't budged at all. Well, at least I'm getting the ferrules out by a consequence of this. Now, it hadn't budged even the tiniest little bit. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do about this one. Yeah, it's not moving at all. Well, I got all the ferrules out at least. Ah, I got it! Broke it, finally. Finally. Holy mackerel, look at the rust around there. Oh my gosh, and it's just, these have just wore these holes out from spinning over the years. You know, that's just something you wouldn't notice ordinarily, you know, and you wouldn't expect or think it would happen, but it did. Wow. So I guess what I'm going to do is clean all that up. I think I'm going to soak this whole thing in a solvent. I mean, paint thinner is my first thought, but I'm not even sure paint thinner is strong enough for this. I'll put it in something and we'll figure it out. Just want to give you a before of these ferrules, and hopefully we can clean them up and make them look almost new again. They certainly don't look new now. I know there's all kinds of things that work on rust, including, you know, like vinegar and just, you know, CLR, all kinds of things. But I'm just going to go ahead and use this. This is PB Blaster. It says powerful rust penetrating catalyst. So I'm just going to use that and we'll see how it goes. Just spray it on all of this and kind of put more in there than we need and just kind of let it soak. Can't hurt anything, I don't think. And then I'm going to take these all to a wire brush or something and get them cleaned up. Well, my friends, that was a huge detour I didn't see coming. You know, man, I'm telling you what, those things were nasty. I put them in the wire wheel and, you know, got all the posts worked down where they feel smooth. They're not perfect. You can still feel stuff on them. They're kind of pitted. But I guess, I'm thinking nope, they won't even still go on these ferrules on the inside. I cleaned the outside of the ferrules. Now I got to find some way to clean the inside of the ferrules. I don't have a little round wire brush. That would be the ideal thing. I have to fix something I can do. Maybe it'll just be a round file. I don't know. Well, the other option is maybe we replace the ferrules. Because, you know, by cleaning them up, they've all gone copper, brass anyway, because the tarnish was so bad there was nothing left. So they've gone to brass, which doesn't look great. So let's see if these new ferrules will, number one, fit the hole. Well, maybe. And number two, will they fit the posts? And number three, do they even kind of look similar? I think they look similar enough that it's worth doing, and they kind of look like they might be okay in the holes too. In other words, they might be a press fit in the holes, or maybe I might even have to drill the holes out a little bit, which I hate to do that in a way, but on the other hand, if it makes them work, I don't know if we can press those in or not. I kind of don't think we can press them in. They're a little tight. These other ones are, the main difference is the other ones are shorter. These are longer ferrules, so they go deeper in the hole, which is a good thing to keep them from spinning. Doggone it. I don't really want to do that, but I don't know that I have many options. Let me look and just make sure there's no other ferrules that would match. Well, my friends, I took one of these old ones, the originals, and I tried to clean it up on the inside just with a round file, spinning it around, just doing anything I could to try to clean it up. And after I do all that, I put it on and it's still reasonably tight. I mean, it works, but it's kind of grabby a little bit. I don't know, it might work. But then you've still got that brass look, which I don't care for these old vintage. And then we've got this one that, I don't know if it seems to match the look pretty good. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's pretty close. The difference is I'll have to re-drill these holes. But that might not be a bad thing, because I don't think these will stick in the hole, and the only way to get them to stick would be to epoxy them in or something, and I don't really want to do that. I've made up my decision. I'm going to use the new ones. I'm going to try to do this by hand. That might work. See if I can get this ferrule down in there. At least they're going in tight, snug. I think that might be deep enough, but I'm going to double check it here. I don't want to force it in there and then be wishing I hadn't. Okay, I'm going to double check the depth here before I go committing myself to pushing these things in the hole. Alright, I got 300 thousandths, and that's more than this needs, so we should be good, I would think. Double check it here. I think we're good. That's 250 thousandths. It's still more than we need. 270, 295, 292, 273. So this one here is a little shallow, I think. We'll go with this one just a tiny bit more. I think that should be good. I hope I'm not making a mistake here. I'm going to press them in. Now the way I typically press these in is take a screwdriver that matches really well and just force them in to play here. Hoping this will work. A little tighter than I was expecting. That's not good. I thought it would go. Well, that worked. Not my favorite thing so far, but it worked. I'm going to try to ream these a little bit more. Hoping that just wiggling it a little bit will make the difference. That last one was just too tight, really. That one wasn't as bad. That was acceptable, I'd say. Try this one. It's acceptable. They're a little bit tight, but tight's better than having them spin, you know, freely like they were doing before. I don't know what caused this little hole here, but you can tell it's an old hole. It's been there a long time. It actually looks like somebody drilled into it almost. It really doesn't look normal. I'm curious what that might be. Yeah, it definitely goes way down in there. So I'm gonna try a little bit of filler and brown trick on that too while I'm at it here. Give it a little time to dry. I'm gonna get a little water and put in mixed with this. Got a little water in mixed in with this time, and juice it up a little bit, make it a little softer, because this is a bit, seems like a really big hole. These kinds of fills, whenever they're deep especially, they'll shrink up every time just about. So trying to get as much down in there as I can. We'll let that dry. That's going to probably shrink. So that's one of the reasons I stopped doing what I was doing, was I thought I better fill this big hole and let that be drying while I'm working on the rest of it. Looks good. One more. And that's definitely better ferrules than what was in there. Those ones that were in there were not good. Very good, very good. That first one was the tightest one, and I didn't wallow that hole out at all. I think these tuners are probably fine. I'm going to put a drop of oil on them. I know some people say that'll make your tuner slip. No, it doesn't. The way that these keys are made, they don't slip. Lots of people think their tuning keys slip, and most of the time, I have seen it happen, so don't misunderstand me. I get that it can happen, but it's pretty dang rare. Unless you see super amount of wear on your worm gear or on your little gear there, unless you see a lot of wear there, the chances of these things slipping is almost zero. And the reason is this is trying to spin, and if you notice how when it tries to spin, it's trying to spin into something that won't turn. You know, this is a worm gear. The spinning action can't turn that worm gear. It just doesn't happen. I know people think it happens, but it doesn't happen. What usually happens is people tune down to a note. And when you're tuning up, and then all of a sudden you go past it and you tune down to the note, well, you've just introduced backlash into your gears. And then that's going to pull that out of there, and that backlash is why you think your tuning keys are slipping. 99 times out of 100, they don't slip. Just don't slip, period. You know, people think they do, but they don't. So believe what you want, but learn from what I'm telling you here, and always tune up to your note. Never, ever do you tune down to a note. Okay, well now we're going to have to find something that's going to make these things work, and the screws that were in there are of no value whatsoever. In fact, every one of them is going in the trash. I'm just throwing them away. Well, I'll throw them in the recycle bin, but regardless, they're going in the trash. Well, even though we're throwing those screws away, we've got a whole thing of screws here to pick through. Hopefully, we can find some that match. These look like these are the same kind in terms of they have the slot, not the Phillips. These are gold ones. I know that those are. I don't know what these are. These might be something. They're probably gold too. Yeah, these are brass also. Okay, so I think this is these here are brass, but they've slotted also. I'd rather not use brass. I'd rather use the silver, which is what I think was on there. So let's see if we can find 6 matching screws in here. And the odds of that are fairly slim, I gotta admit. At least I want the heads to match so that when we screw them in, we can make them look the same. Are the holes too wallered out to work? That's the next problem. And they might be. I kind of think they are. Yeah, they're too wallered out. That, well, it's almost grabs right at the end, but for my money, since we're going this far, we might as well do it right. I don't like it, but we might as well do it right. Actually, I don't even think I'm going to have near enough. Now I think about it, I got 2, 4, 6. So I need 12. Right now I've got 8. We'll make it work. So now I'm going to get some toothpicks and glue, and we're going to fill this. Got to find something to squeeze some glue out on. Squeeze it out on this post-it note here, I guess. That's way more than we'll need. That's the way you want to do it in America. Overdo it, excess on everything. Alright, so what I do is I poke it down in there and then I just break it off like that. Then I poke it down in there again, and I'll even take something that resembles a hammer. Don't have to be a hammer exactly, just something you can tap on it really easily with. And at the moment I see nothing. Drive it down in there as best you can and break it off again. If they stand out a little bit proud, that's fine. You can take a chisel and clean them up. This hole here is really big, so we're gonna probably stick this one in there 2 or 3 times. Well, it's actually 2 different holes even. Yeah, giant holes here. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. See how big that hole is right there? It's huge. You know, way bigger than the screw. If you don't do something like I'm doing here, you're just wasting your time, really. You gotta fill them in. You can't use crap like that and make it work right. And you remember, we couldn't even turn the screws. Isn't that crazy? A hole this large, and we couldn't turn the screws. That's just nuts. My goodness, how many toothpicks have I gone through? All right, one last one to fill, I think. They were way worse than I thought they were. I didn't think they were this bad. So it was good that we did all this, even though it was a huge can of worms. Just cleaning it off to see if I missed a spot or any holes. This one looks like it's empty, but it doesn't look like it's got much in it. But I'm going to see if I can get any more to go down in there. I think it broke off just a little below the surface. There's nothing else there to get into. So, all right, well, the next step is to smooth them off with a chisel. So let me move some of this stuff out of my way, get a chisel, and we'll get moving. All right, I sharpened up the chisel really sharp. And we should be able to get these off of there pretty easily. Just want them to be even with the surface, kinda. This one here is like cutting off a tree trunk. Back of this peg head's really nasty looking, so you know we've already gone the extra step. Look, why don't we just go an extra mile here? See if we can clean this up, because it's a mess. You think it's dirty? You think there's any problem with that? I picked a clean spot, trust me. See, there's a clean spot. Probably won't be as bad this time because I got most of it the first time. There you go. Think it's dirty? Pretty sure it's dirty. Holy mackerel. Most of that looks like rust too. Like I said, it must have got damp or something. Well, it's from down in Louisiana, I believe, so, you know, there's probably a lot of humidity and moisture and different things and flooding and who knows what else. It's still coming off. Holy mackerel. Getting a brand new clean one just to prove that it's that bad. Brand new clean one here. I don't know if it's still going to come off or not, but it hasn't disappointed so far, so it probably will. Pretty messed up. Amazing how much is on there. How nasty that is. All right, we're going to just dry it off real good now. That helped a lot, actually. It was rough feeling even. It was that bad. There was so much on there. And again, I'm just using the dry buffing technique here with these towels. They buff things out really good. That looks 1,000% better than it did. It looks bad, but it looks twice as good as it did, maybe 3 times. It still looks bad though, but we're going to cover up 90% of that. So let's see here. This one has to go on this side. Wow. That don't seem right. Maybe not. I was wrong. Goes on that side. I didn't think that looked right. So the gears go on the bottom. So just going to get them all in a place. Get them kind of lined up so that we can kind of tell if they're in line or not. Okay, so I want to try to get them all in alignment before we re-drill the holes and whatever we're going to do. I just made myself a little straight edge here, and it's often the case, and I guess it's the way they make them, the middle key is set in a little bit deeper than the other 2 keys, but at least I can get some kind of an alignment by eye out of that. So that's what I'm doing. That's pretty good. I think I'm going to do one side at a time. Okay, I'm just using a 1/16 inch bit. It seems like it's going to be close. Wouldn't you know, I can't really tell where the hole is on that one. I think I know where it is, but I better double check it. Well, neither one of them look right. I'm glad I double checked it. Yeah, that's the problem. The glue's still wet, so the glue's sticking to the drill bit, which ain't my favorite thing here. Yeah, really making a mess. That one came off okay though. Nothing's ever easy. Alright, let me clean this bit off before it all gets on there like concrete. Nothing as ever simple. There we go. Now that's the way they're supposed to be. That's solid. That ain't gonna go nowhere. That's the way they should be. Get this side done, then I'll do the other side. I wanted to just do the one side to see if I need to modify what I'm doing here. You know, you'd think, well, you've done this a lot, you ought to know. Well, the thing is, every situation's a little different. You think everything's standard, and you'll find out that there's a lot of slight variations in pretty much everything. Let's line up the other side now and see if we can make it kind of match. The optimist in me was expecting to be able to be done with this by lunchtime today. Obviously, we're not even close to that because we got on to sidetrack adventures here. Okay, hopefully it'll work. Well, unless somebody looked really close, they wouldn't be able to tell that these screws don't exactly match. But I tell you what, they're way better than what was in there. What was in there was beyond recognition as a screw. Okay, that's so much better. And I'll bet you money that those ferrules are not turning, mainly because the ferrules are in there really tight. There's no way they could turn. All right, so I'm going to put a drop of oil down on these ferrules and turn them around. Get them all turning around like that. That'll make them a lot easier to turn, get those ferrules lubed up. That looks much better. Yeah, seeing those ferrules spin, like I said, in 40 years I've never seen every single one of them stuck and spinning like that. I think I've probably seen, you know, one spin or something in all those years, but not ever all six. Let me clean up a little bit and then we're going to dye this thing here. I got oil on there, so I'm just going to wipe the oil off it. Oil doesn't, by the way, regular oil won't hurt your finish or your fretboard or any of that. In fact, you can put it on there, it won't hurt a thing. Okay, we've got this little touch-up spot. And let's see if we can clean this up where at least it doesn't look so bad. All right, much less noticeable now. It's still there, obviously, but much less noticeable. Okay, gonna put some strings on this puppy and see what happens. So we're gonna start down at this end. We're just gonna put, oops, no we're not, because we gotta drill holes yet. Let's see what's going on in here. Why are the holes plugged up? I'm not sure I remember why that would be. I would think they would be going all the way through, but I don't see any. Maybe they are going through. Oh, they are going through. I just can't see it. Yeah, they're going through. They're just not. We just need to do some work on them. I didn't think about that, but like those won't go down yet all the way. So let me get my little reamer. And what I typically do is ream these holes until I can feel the touch of this. I go down in the hole until I put my finger inside until I can feel this touch my finger. Then I stop. That way they all get to be about the same size, but these holes are a little bit too small to even start with that reamer. I got a little drill bit here to just enlarge them a little bit. That should allow me to start this down in here, I think. Put my finger over the hole there, and as soon as I can feel the end of that, I quit. That's it right there. So there ain't nothing to this. As long as you got 19,000 tools and 40 years experience, it's a piece of cake. No, I don't think there's a single thing about all of this that's just what you call simple. None of it's super hard either. It's just learning the technique, learning the process, all that. All right, those holes have been reamed, and they should be perfect now for the pegs to go down in there, and the pegs fit nice and snug. These pegs, they don't even have a groove in them. Most of the time pegs have a groove in them. They don't have a slot in these for the strings. I don't know if these are original pegs or not. They might be. I hate to modify them too much, but I usually do modify the end of the peg and bevel it so that the string won't stick on the bottom there. I have a feeling we're going to have to do something, either make the holes bigger, which I don't like to do, or we're going to have to put slots in these pegs. Yeah, because this isn't going to go in there. There's no way. All right, I'm going to modify the pegs, because we just want it to be practical. And who knows if these are original or not. They might be, they might not be. Yeah, before I go any further, let's just make sure this is going to work. Well, I'm going to do that on every one of these. I'm not even going to show the rest of it. You saw what I'm doing there. I'm just literally grinding a groove right down the length of the peg. All right, I'm starting to put the strings on there, and I'm only going to put 2 strings on to start with. We're just going to try to find the optimal location for the bridge, or for the saddle, I should say. And at least I think this is all working. Took a while to get the grooves in there, and then I also beveled the end of the pegs too. Hopefully this is going to be at approximately the right height. So I'm going to use my method for putting these strings on too. I'm wrapping both around the post here, and then I'm going to go back through the post above the wraps, and well, come on, it's going under the string, and there's no way it should have done that, but it just kept doing it. All right, so we'll pull this up tight, and it's already relatively snug there. It's going to work, I think. I can tell the angle looks pretty good. So that's a relief in itself. We'll cut them off flush with the top, and take the second one. Now the second one, we do it differently. Put it through the hole, because these are the small strings. I put them through the hole, go back around the outside, back under the string like this, then lift up and wrap it around the string, and it's locked in. These take a little more winding, but it's just the best, safest way to do it, where you don't have any give or string releasing or anything like that. Okay. Now what we need to do is get us a little piece of saddle that we can slip under there to see if we can set the intonation. Here's a really tiny piece, but it doesn't look like we're going to need very much. It might be that we're going to have to shave a little bit off this bridge. And that's okay, because we got a lot there. What your idea is to put a temporary saddle under here that's approximately the height of the strings that you're wanting to get to. So I'm wanting to get to about 90 here, and so we really need something a little taller. This is hitting at about 60. So this saddle's just not quite tall enough. It's close, but it's not there. That's just about perfect right there. Might be a little low on the treble side, but it's pretty close. That's about as close as you need to be. As long as you're in the ballpark close, then you're good to go. All right, so let's tune this up to standard pitch. And that would be easy if I had a tuner here, because my ear doesn't let me know what standard pitch is very well. Alright, well, I'm going to loosen these back up. The reason is I'm not happy with the way I have this. I'm going to actually raise the strings up a little bit more. They're going to be a little higher than where I want to be, but not a great deal higher. I don't know if you can see it or not. We'll get you zoomed in here where you can kind of tell what's going on. It doesn't move whenever it doesn't really matter that it's perfectly dead center. It matters whether it moves. That means it's intonated perfectly. If in other words, like if you're just a hair flat when you note it, and you're a hair flat when it's noted open, well, you know, if it's exactly the same, well, then you're perfect. It doesn't matter whether you're hitting it dead center or not. It's better if you can get it on dead center. See, that's pretty darn close. Very, very, very close. I'm going to monkey with it. I'm going to turn this around where I can see it better and make sure I get it just right. And I'll show you the next step. Okay, I just double checked my action. I'm a little bit high here. I'm about perfect there. I've, triple checked where the saddle is at. And now I'm going to mark it. I'm going to use this fine lead pencil, and on camera that would never be the right one the first time. So I'm going to try to draw a line under here on the front edge. The front edge is what's important. The back edge doesn't matter too much. So that front edge is what's really important. That's where your string is stopping, is right on that front edge. And that is the distance from there to here that should make all these frets perfect. It's as close as you're going to get. There's no such thing as perfect when it comes to doing this, but you can get really good results if you do this very carefully. And that's why I do it the way I do it. This is the most dangerous way to do it, because I can make a mistake now and screw this whole bridge up. It would be a real tragedy, but you know, it could happen. So I'm going to just do my best and do the safest thing I can to make it work right.